During his final year in the seat of the Budweiser Ford, this driver displayed the necessary elements of a champion: patience and strength behind the wheel. But Bill Elliott didn't waste time when in track record style. He captured a berth in the 1995 Busch Clash with the pole at Darlington, and then he didn't stop until he finished third. Beneath this intense exterior, however, Elliott had to keep calm until the rest of the season came his way. He gave Talladega every ounce of effort, coming in second to the other red car. An impressive third at Indianapolis, followed by a fifth at Bristol, sent the message. Bill Elliott's favorite memory of the Mountain Dew Southern 500 at Darlington would be Victory Lane. 3 more top 10 finishes, including a third at Martinsville, solidified this gentleman's 11th time here at the podium. Remember, patience does pay off. Please welcome the 1988 NASCAR Winston Cup champion, 9-time NASCAR most popular driver, and this year's 10th place finisher in the NASCAR Winston Cup point standings, behind the wheel of Junior Johnson's Budweiser Ford, from Dawsonville, Georgia, Bill Elliott. Determination, track savvy, miles and miles of racing experience. That's what this man strapped into the cockpit when the 1994 season began. In his 20th full season of NASCAR Winston Cup competition, Darrell Waltrip got his season going with a third-place finish at Atlanta, and then took home 4th on the Martinsville short track he knows so well. Often still in the battle when others have bowed out, Darrell captured top 10 finishes in June at Dover and Michigan, saying his career was now complete by adding an Indianapolis green flag to his resume. DW finished 6th in the inaugural Brickyard 400, beginning an August streak of top 10 finishes, ending with a 4th under the lights at Bristol. With a 3rd place showing at Dover in September, this 2-time NASCAR most popular driver tallied 9 top 10 finishes in the second half of the season to earn his recognition here tonight. Along the way, he extended his modern-day record of taking the checkered flag in 40 consecutive races. For the 18th time in his storied career, please welcome back to the Waldorf Astoria stage the owner and driver of the Western Auto Chevrolet, 3-time NASCAR Winston Cup champion, from Franklin, Tennessee, Darrell Waltrip. Nothing in motorsports is ever a sure thing, but every once in a while, someone comes along with the right to challenge that statement. Meet the newest contender. With the support of his second-year owner and carrying 1993 NASCAR Winston Cup Rookie of the Year honors, 23-year-old Jeff Gordon began his quest for success early. At the Busch Clash, he beat the veterans at their own game. In the famed Daytona Victory Circle, we got our first taste of what a points race triumph would be like. He came close in the Daytona 500 with a 4th place finish and backed it up 2 races later with a 3rd at Richmond. He could run fast and run up front. These tracks were no longer asphalt strangers to him. He captured the pole for the Memorial Weekend Showcase, and on May 29th, Jeff found the winning combination, and the code name was Charlotte. Gordon continued his assault on the super speedways with top 10 finishes at Dover, Pocono, and Daytona. Then it was time to go back home again. Decades from now, we can all say we were there in Indianapolis to witness the merging of racing superpowers, the day that a local boy became a national hero, the day that Jeff Gordon crossed the final yard of brick ahead of all others for the inaugural honors. First race, first place. For his win, Jeff took a victory lap like no other, and now his ties to NASCAR Winston Cup racing are permanent. It's a sure bet this won't be his last trip to the Waldorf Astoria podium. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from the Rick Hendrick stable, the driver of the DuPont Chevrolet, finishing 8th in the NASCAR Winston Cup point standings, from Pittsboro, Indiana, Jeff Gordon. In his first season as one of the trio campaigning for owner Rick Hendrick, Texan Terry Labonte decided to make winning a familiar role in 1994. After a season-opening third place at Daytona, Labonte began his trend of victory lane appearances by holding off the strongest of short-track competitors in winning margin style for his third career checkered flag at North Wilkesboro. The long summer stretch proved to be Labonte's toughest test, but he broke the heat with a sixth place on the twisty turns of Watkins Glen. The cool and confident Iceman went under the lights at Richmond with a recipe for success, and once again his Chevy stirred up a winner. Now focused on setting a personal best, he set out for the desert. When asked who would be the Phoenix favorite, the veteran said, "Watch out for that 5 car." He gave the fans over 300 miles to think about it before he pulled into victory lane. With the hat trick in place, the final tally shows that next to our champion, Terry Labonte scored more points in the second half of the season than anyone else. Next year's goal looks very clear for the man who finished his 7th this year in the NASCAR Winston Cup point standings. For the 12th time in his career, please welcome to the stage the driver of Rick Hendrick's Kellogg Chevrolet 1984 NASCAR Winston Cup champion from Corpus Christi, Texas, Terry Labonte. In his 18th full season of NASCAR Winston Cup competition, this man undertook the biggest job of them all, that of running his own team. And for the 14th time in his career, his knowledge of what it takes inside the cockpit and out returns him to the New York spotlight. In the first half of 1994, Ricky Rudd turned the super speedways into his allies, posting consistent top 10 finishes at Daytona, Atlanta, Darlington, and Charlotte. While this new team was getting used to each other, they were also in an early battle for the NASCAR Winston Cup. Maybe forgotten was a streak of at least one win a year since 1983. But the driver gave his owner the prize when the Tide machine added 1994 and Loudon to that list. Always a favorite on the road courses, Rudd scored a 5th at Watkins Glen and proceeded to continue his top 10 march through the second half of the season, highlighted by a pole position at Rockingham. He entered the season finale at Atlanta just one mark behind the next rung on the points ladder. And when the season concluded, Ricky had garnered more track miles than any of his competitors. Ladies and gentlemen, finishing 5th in the NASCAR Winston Cup point standings, the driver and owner of the Tide Ford from Chesapeake, Virginia, Ricky Rudd. To ride the crest of the NASCAR Winston Cup points wave takes concentrated teamwork and a master plan. To ride it out for the entire 31 races, well, it takes a man like Ken Schrader. Rick Hendrick's senior driver began his season with top 10 finishes at Daytona and Rockingham. Schrader then battled on the banks at Bristol, ending with runner-up honors. The versatility of this 11-year veteran was as diverse as the circuits the NASCAR Winston Cup Tour visits. Never to drop lower than 6th in the standings from here on, Schrader took a 5th at Talladega, back-to-back 3rds at Dover and Pocono, and ended his successful summer with a 4th at Watkins Glen. But he wasn't finished yet. Determined to ride the wave all the way to New York, Schrader rose to 4th in the points, with this 4th on the Monster Mile at Dover. With his former teammate only 1 point away, the Hooters 500 at Atlanta became a race within a race. Schrader prevailed, and thanks to 18 top 10 finishes during the season, he joins us here for the 7th time in his career. Please welcome the final member of the Rick Hendrick Triumvirate, finishing 4th in the NASCAR Winston Cup point standings behind the wheel of the Kodiak Chevrolet. From Fenton, Missouri, Ken Schrader. In his 4th full year as the driver of Roger Penske's Miller Genuine Draft Ford, Rusty Wallace has many things on his resume. 1989 NASCAR Winston Cup champion. Winner, fierce competitor, stock car superstar. Wallace didn't wait too long to pick up where he left off last year. By race number 2, Rusty paid Rockingham's Victory Lane a visit. A pair of seconds at Richmond and North Wilkesboro was just a warm-up for his clean sweep of the pole and the race at Martinsville. Into the summer stretch, the driver in black and gold hoped that luck would be a lady. Rusty's wish came true in the form of June. In a 3-week span, he dominated Dover, paced Pocono, and mastered Michigan. Firmly in position for a run at his second NASCAR Winston Cup, Rusty called on every resource in his arsenal. Time was of the essence, and the Brain Trust formulated its strategy. Wallace brought the lights down on the short track season with his 5th career win at Bristol. He may have finished on fumes at Dover, but there was enough left in the tank to get him to victory lane. The 8th mark in the win column was etched at Martinsville, and with his efforts, a clinch of the manufacturer's crown for Ford. This man now adds a mission statement to his goals for next year. I'll be back. And now, here is the driver of Roger Penske's Miller Genuine Draft Ford, finishing 3rd in the NASCAR Winston Cup point standings from St. Louis, Missouri, Rusty Wallace. In the world known as NASCAR Winston Cup, only the best compete in this highest echelon of stock car racing. Meet the team that measures up to the mechanical intellect and stamina required. Meet the man who may just be the most emotionally and physically prepared pilot around. Together, they form Roush Racing, starring Mark Martin. Martin began his 1994 season with 4 top 6 finishes in the first 5 races, including the runner-up spot at Darlington. In just the 2nd race of the year, Mark was in the top 5 in points, a position he never relinquished. Mark then turned up the heat with a finishing streak from Dover to Talladega. A 3rd, 3/4, a 5th, a 6th. Returning to Watkins Glen as the defending champion, he picked up where he left off, winning the Busch Pole and his first victory of the season. Martin continued to show his versatility as he backed up his road course win with a pair of 2nd place honors on the Super Speedway at Michigan and on the short track during a hot August night in Bristol. When opportunity knocked, the Roush team made sure it was prepared to answer. The first call came at Phoenix, where Mark collected his 4th runner-up spot of the year. In his final shot at Atlanta, Mark made it victory number 2 to boost him to position number 2. Making his 6th consecutive appearance here in New York, please welcome the 1990 and now 1994 NASCAR Winston Cup runner-up, driving the Jack Roush Valvoline Ford from Batesville, Arkansas, Mark Martin. No matter where you live on planet Earth, anyone can see the stars. Some of us merely just reach for them. But there are the select few who dare to climb aboard, strap in, and set out for a season where no man has gone before. Join us now for the 1994 stellar expedition of Starship Earnhardt. With 3 top 10 finishes in the first 4 races, this reigning star warrior locked in a top 3 points position, and that was just on impulse power. When he arrived in Darlington, Dale Earnhardt engaged a warp drive that propelled him to victory. He journeyed next to Bristol for an 8th career checkered flag and a command chair atop the NASCAR Winston Cup standard. Backed by his seasoned flying aces, a resourceful chief engineer, and a crafty navigator, this crew assaulted the galaxy's fastest superspeedway at Talladega and left all others in its wake. Cruising smooth and strong through the summer heat, Earnhardt logged these entries: Pocono and Michigan, 2nd. Daytona, 3rd. Loudon, 2nd. Dale then pioneered a new frontier with a 5th place finish in the maiden voyage at Indianapolis. On the horizon loomed a prize only one other great explorer has claimed, a 7th NASCAR Winston Cup Championship. To reach it, a steady course was plotted, marked with the coordinates of 3rd at Watkins Glen and Bristol, vectoring to 2nd at Darlington, Dover, and Martinsville. With the ultimate prize within reach, Dale docked at the Rock and demonstrated why he's the best in stock car racing's universe. NASCAR Winston Cup Championship number 7. But Earnhardt wasn't finished. He engaged his Chevrolet machine, and his champion celebration became a global victory party. The mission was a success, and Start-8 1994 will forever be known as the year of this conqueror's record-tying track. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 1994 and now 7-time NASCAR Winston Cup champion, driving the Richard Childress-owned GM Goodwrench Chevrolet from Kannapolis, North Carolina, Dale Earnhardt.
It's great being from Kannapolis, North Carolina. It's the kind of hometown that everybody wishes they had. I'm proud to say that I was born to Ralph and Martha Earnhardt as the 3rd of 5 children. I think you all know my daddy as a racer, and because of him, it's all I ever wanted to be. My sisters Kay and Kathy and brothers Randy and Danny, they've all meant a lot to me through the years with the support they've always given. My mom is my biggest fan, and I'm glad she's had the chance to share a lot of the good times with me. I want to say thanks to all my family, friends, and business associates in the Carolinas and all over that have supported me in the good times and bad. People you may not have heard of that have really helped me in the past, people like Jimmy Otten at Piedmont Bank, who helped me with 90-day notes to keep me racing when my pockets were empty. Growing up, I thought we were rich because I was always around race cars. I got a lot of hands-on experience with my dad, how to work on cars, and what it took to win. I love going to the races with my dad, or working with racers like Haywood Plyler. I think I was Haywood's first crew chief. I would do the windshield and roll tires around the car, whatever. The early years were pretty exciting, pretty scary, and pretty unbelievable at times. David and Ray Oliver owned the first car I drove. A little bit embarrassed that it was pink, but I had a good time driving it. Next, I drove an old 56 Ford that James Miller owned. During the winter, James and the guys built a 63 Falcon. Can you believe we won the first race we ran it? My next car owners was Tommy and James and Frank Russell from Concord, North Carolina. I know we won over 26 races the first year, and I think 29 or more the second year. All my racing back then was on dirt. While I was still running the 6-cylinder class, Pete Hamilton, Tex Powell, Larry Rathgaff, and the Petties gave me a chance to test the Chrysler kit car at Concord, North Carolina. Boy, you talking about an experience getting out of a 6-cylinder into a V8. Now, that was some fun. After my dad passed away, I was fortunate to have a good friend, Gray London, who bought me my first asphalt car. It was a 65 Chevelle from Harry Gant. 1974 was my first asphalt race, and I've got to thank Harry Gant and Tommy Houston for teaching me the difference between dirt and asphalt. That was some experience. Bobby Isaac also meant a lot to me in those days. He gave me some great advice. I got to thank Ned Jarrett, who was the promoter at Hickory Speedway in those days. He helped me with finding sponsors. One of my first sponsors was Doc Cycle Center of Kannapolis, which was owned by Marshall Brooks, a good friend of mine. And boy, was he a lot of fun. My first super speedway race came when Richard Howard of Charlotte Motor Speedway helped me get a ride with Neil Castles in the Sportsman 300 in October of 1974. I kept racing the short tracks in the Sportsman division with the help of friends like Gary Hargett. In May of 1975, I made my first Winston Cup start. I drove an Edna Grease Dodge in the World 600. Boy, what an experience. About that same time, Robert G. built a Camaro that we raced at Concord and some other short tracks around there. Boy, it was awesome. We won a lot of races with that car. I'm grateful to Robert for all the help he gave me, from driving his dirt car to winning Daytona, Charlotte, Rockingham, and his sportsman cars. Robert really meant a lot to me, as well as a lot of other people in racing. When times were tight, there was a lot of people that believed in me. I've got to thank people like Dick Hutchison and Eddie Pagan for, well, letting me charge too much on my parts bill that I finally paid off. In May of 1976, I drove a car owned by Walter Ballard at Charlotte for my second Winston Cup start. Then in November, I drove Johnny Ray's car at Atlanta with Buddy Parrott as my crew chief. Boy, I got in a heck of a wreck over in turn 3 with Dick Brooks and demolished the car. I got a break in 1978 thanks to Humpy Wheeler, who put me in a Will Cronkite car at Charlotte, the World 600. I ran 3 more races with Will before I met Rod Osterler. Rod let me drive his sportsman car at Charlotte and his Winston Cup car at Atlanta, where I finished 4th in just my 9th Winston Cup start. With the support of Rod Osterland and the whole Osterland team, I was on my way. 1979 was a great year. I won my first Winston Cup race at Bristol, and I won the Rookie of the Year. We had a good crew with guys like Doug Richard, Jake Elder, Dave D'Ambrosio, and Lou LaRosa. It's hard to believe the next year we won our first Winston Cup championship. In 1981, I made the decision to change rides, and Junior Johnson was instrumental in helping me team up with Richard Childers. Richard and I both appreciate Junior's advice. Then in 1982, I had the opportunity to drive for a great man, Bud Moore. We won some races, but more importantly, Bud helped me settle down. I'll always be grateful to Bud. So many people helped me in my career for no other reason except they loved to race, and they believed in me. I really appreciate people like Mike Herman, Ronnie Sellers, Gene Dees, Mike Watkins, Woody Chavis, Robert G. Jr., Rick Brigman, Rick Boss, Don Drake, Mark McCullen, my brothers Randy and Danny, Tony Urey, and Donnie Reed. Of course, I've got to remember my old buddy Joe Whitlock. He taught me there's more to this sport than just driving a race car, and he kept me really amused with great stories about my dad. In 1984, I went back to drive for Richard Childers. He had put together a strong team that has a lot of the same people that make up the team today. The Childers team won 4 pit crew championships in a row from 1985 through 88 with guys like Kurt Shammerdine, Will Lynn, David Smith, and Chocolate Myers. Together, we won NASCAR Winston Cup championships in 86 and 87 in Chevrolet Monte Carlos for Wrangler. Jim Goodrich came along in 1988, and with their support, we've won 4 Winston Cup championships in the past 5 years in our Chevy Luminas. Through it all, Richard Childers has given me the best crew, the best cars, and the best advice and friendship that any man could ask for. Throughout my career, I've made some great racing friends. Men I've learned from, men like David Pearson, Kel Yarborough, Beanie Parsons, Donnie and Bobby Allison, Richard Petty, and Dave Marcus. Of course, we've had some sad times. We've lost some great guys that I love to race with. Guys like Tim Richmond, Davey Allison, and Alan Kowicki. They were more than competitors to me. They were our friends. Then there's all the other characters I'm still racing with. Rusty, Ernie, Mark, Schrader, Kyle, Jeff Gordon, and all the other guys out there. You are the ones who make NASCAR Winston Cup racing so competitive. There are personal friends and fans who have encouraged me more than they'll ever know. I've got to make a special point to thank Bill France and the whole NASCAR family. They do more than most will ever know to give us a great organization to race with. Thanks to the folks at R.J. Reynolds, T. Wayne, Jim Johnson, and all the others through the years that have made this sport grow in a way that just is unbelievable. I've walked away with a lot of their checks, and I really appreciate Winston. Thanks also to the promoters, the press people, just everyone involved who has helped me become a 7-time champion. I know where the sport has come from, and I know without everybody's help, I wouldn't be where I am tonight. I'm fortunate to have a great family. My children, Carrie, Kelly, Dale Jr., and Taylor Nicole have given me a lot of joy. I want all of them to know how proud I am of them. I don't know how far we could have gotten without Teresa. She's been just a great wife and a friend to me. Of all the good things that have happened to me, Teresa has been the best. I couldn't close without a thanks to Neil. A man couldn't ask for a better friend. He was with me and the whole team this past season. He was in our thoughts and in our hearts. Nobody will ever know how much Neil Bonnet has helped me in my life. I just wish I had the chance to thank him. With the help of the good Lord and a lot of good people, I made the journey from the old dirt tracks around Kannapolis to the greatest super speedways in the world. And tonight, while you may be honoring me as your 7-time champion, I'm here to say it's me, Dale Earnhardt, who honors you and thanks you.
Till life's no fun. All I really gotta do is live and die, but I'm in a hurry and don't know why. Don't know why. about you, but it'll do 0 to 60 in 5.2. I'm in a hurry to get things done. Oh, I rush and rush until life's no fun. All I really gotta do is live and die, but I'm in a hurry and don't know why. Can't be late. I've even plenty of time shaking hands with the clock. I can't stop. I'm on a roll and I'm ready to rock. Oh, I'm in a hurry to get things done. Oh, I rush and rush until life's no fun. All I really gotta do is live and die, but I'm in a hurry and don't know why. It says I'm running behind, I better pick up my pace. It's a race and there ain't no room for someone in second place. I'm in a hurry to get things done. I rush and rush until life's no fun. All I really gotta do is live and die.